Hey y'all, it's Lena with What's Poppin' USA, Small Business Home Shopping Network, and today on Glass Table Talks, please help me welcome Miss Janice Burt, aka Spanish Janice. This young lady is over in Sacramento, California, and she is a certified court interpreter. She is a voiceover artist and specialist. She is a motivational speaker. She's a yoga instructor. And she is a published author, y'all. She has a book called Kicking the People-Pleasing Habit. I think a lot of us can identify with that. Y'all, please give it up and help me welcome Miss Spanish Janice to the show. So Janice, please, I want to say thank you for coming on and welcome to Glass Table Talks. Yay! And thank you so much for getting up with us. You are 3 hours behind us, so it might be a little early there in the morning, but we thank you, baby. And please tell us, I was nosy. I'm a nosy chick. I went all through your business, so I was watching your videos. So I've got a couple of things that I would like to touch on with you. But please go ahead, for the people who have not been nosy like me yet, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and what, because you do a lot of really cool things. And so I'm excited to talk about this.
Well, thank you so much for having me on here.
You are so welcome.
Meeting you is like a pleasure because you have that energy that draws you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it makes people happy and smiling.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Super positive. So, yes, Spanish Janice is actually my LLC.
So cute. I love it.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister if you try to say it fast, but it's fun. And the reason I love Spanish so much is when I was a little girl, I lived in Mexico. My parents took my brother and I over there for 5 years. So I think I was 8 years old when we went down there and 13 years old when we came back. So it was during those real formative years.
Yes. You soaked it up like a sponge.
I totally did. And we went down there, my brother and I, without knowing any Spanish. And they just kind of put us in a school. And they're
what was the motivation? Was it were they transferred? Were they military? Just on a whim?
They were actually missionaries.
Oh.
So it was like a kind of a religious,
trek.
And so they did that for 5 years. And we as kids, as you know, you kind of just tag along. You don't have much say in what your parents decide to do or not do. And but I say this all the time, that it ended up being the best gift that they gave me, because it truly, obviously, it's a lot of what I do now. And there was something about being in a different culture and environment that made me see that many times, we kind of get stuck in this little bubble of where we're at in life.
Centric or, American centric, self-centric.
Yes. Yes. Where it's like there is a world out there of different things and different ways of thinking, different ways of doing things culturally and language wise and all of it. So it gave me a really great experience of knowing that the world is large, that we are different but the same. Right. And it was just cool. So anyway, that was my childhood, which is why when I came back, I did end up majoring in Spanish. And then my minor, and I know you did too, which is so cool. My minor was communication studies. And I had no idea what I was going to do with that. I just knew that I loved talking. My dad had nicknamed me Chatterbox when I was a little girl. So obviously I had like the gift of gab, so I love talking. Yeah.
My dad used to say I could talk a mile a minute. So yeah. I gotcha.
Totally. So, and then Spanish, obviously, because I lived there
Yeah.
and I wanted to keep that up. So
Oh, yeah.
that was kind of my mindset when I was younger. But then I ended up getting married really young
Hmm.
and had kids, I think 5 years after I got married. So I was probably
Right.
25 when I had
Oh, still
kids,
young. Yeah.
still young. And I was a stay at home mom
Mhm.
for the majority of that time. So I didn't have a lot of exposure or
Right.
experience to the workforce.
Right.
I did do, like a waitressing job at El Torito.
Right. Right. Little side,
Yeah,
little.
those kind of things. But other than that,
Right.
I stayed at home. I raised my kids. I did all
Right.
that. And then I went through like the biggest, most drastic change and kind of loss in my life, which was
Did
my
you get
divorce.
divorced?
Yes, and that just flipped everything on its head for me because at that point I had to say, okay, I was very codependent. I
Right.
was very much a people pleaser, which is what my book is
I,
about.
I got that written down. Yep. Kicking the people pleasing habit. Right here, please. Yes, and thank you.
Yep, it was
Mhm.
like, love me, please validate me, tell me I'm good enough, I will
I'll take
do.
any piece of you, even if it's the bad piece, as long as it's just a piece, I'll just take it because that's what I deserve. Yeah, any piece I can get. I've
Right.
been there grasping at. Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
the desperation,
Yep.
the clinging,
And then you said that he was really the breadwinner. You were the stay-at-home mom, so that throws a complete monkey wrench into not only the emotional and turmoil, the heartache, but the financial. Like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? It's a
yes.
whole gamut of emotion. So I can feel you out. Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, it was rough. And props to
Mhm.
him. He has totally held up his end of the bargain with supporting us
Right,
which
right,
is awesome. I know
right.
a lot of people don't get that
Get
kind of
that
support.
right,
So
right.
that was amazing, but even
Yeah.
so, it
But
wasn't
still, yeah.
I had to supplement. It was not going to sustain us,
Oh, it's not the total be all and end. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my rock bottom. And that was where I came face to face with myself
Mhm.
in a sense of going, okay, I'm really good at blaming.
Right.
I've been really good at this like victim mentality, woe is
What'd
me.
you do this to me for? What did I do? What's wrong with me that this happened? And yeah,
Without really going,
yeah,
okay, what are you doing, Janice? How
right,
are you choosing to show up in the world? What are you hiding behind? What are the things holding you back? So as soon as I kind of flipped that
right,
script,
right.
I came face to face with myself and with kind of this personal responsibility concept of like, wait a minute, I am the common denominator in my life now
Right,
as an adult. So I need to kind of take the reins. I need to create. I need to figure out what I'm going to do because, this wallowing in self-pity, I mean, we can do
right.
it for a
But it
while.
doesn't
As
do
long as we
anything
want, we
but
can do it.
take you down the rabbit hole, though.
Yes. So at a certain point, I just went, okay,
Right.
I
Enough is enough.
enough is enough. So
Right,
I saw that I was just being controlled by fear and
right.
giving fear the reins of my life. And I started walking through all of my fears because I thought, if I can do the things that scare me the most,
You can do
then I will be able to prove to myself that I ultimately am more powerful than my fears and that I can show up in a way that is authentic to me,
right.
that is powerful, that is confident. Because I also struggled a lot with insecurity, that just like,
I'm so self-conscious. I'm so insecure, always worried about what everybody else thinks. What are they going to think of me? What do I look like? Are they going to say this? Am I going to always the same
yes.
type? Yes.
which kind of tied into the people pleasing, and it was all kind
Oh,
of
yes, because you don't want anybody to be upset with you, everything, but at the expense of yourself,
yes,
you
yes. So
know?
it's
And
not
I really feel, and not to go off on like a whole relationship girl thing, and man bash and all that kind of stuff, but I really feel the women who really have those self-esteem issues, that really are those people pleasing type folks, I really think that when we first meet, the person that we're mated with, we don't exhibit that. We exhibit more of a confidence. And somehow during that relationship, we women take a back seat to ourselves, and we become the mom, the wife, the homemaker, the gardener, the cook, the whatever, the cleaner. We become everything but Janice or Helena. You know what I mean? And so we're so used to kind of putting out fires, we kind of lose ourselves. And I think that as we lose ourselves, honestly, and it sounds kind of shitty, but it almost feels like that other person was drawn to us the way we originally were. But when we start losing ourselves, they're like, I don't know this whiny ass, needy ass person anymore. Let me, like, where's that confident? Where's that sexy go get? Where's that person that I first met? Where's that person that we first had that spark? And that kind of dies.
Mhm.
And I think, as and I'll speak from experience, as a woman who, I'm such a people pleaser. I give up the shirt off my back if I can. I would feel guilty telling my husband no, or my kids, no, you can't do that. You can't have that. So instead, I would bend over backwards and do it. But when you do it, you lose a little piece of here. So it's finding that
And you become resentful, honestly, after a while of doing things that you
for
truly don't
everybody else.
want to be doing. You're like, inside.
Right. And so I think we kind of, I'll speak for myself. I can see in relationships like that I've tried to give so much and give so much. I put that other person ahead of myself, and I took a back seat and I shrunk, you know. And so, when you try to come out of that and you try to come out and be yourself again, that person's like, wait a minute, they were just this little shrinking violet now that I can control and I can do anything I want. And now they're bucking up.
Yeah.
They got their own personality. And oh, now there's a problem.
Yeah.
So it's weird dynamics that we train people to respond to us as, because if we kept to our true self, we wouldn't be dealing with that bullshit.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, I don't know. Maybe I just went off on a whole tangent and soapbox on that, but I just really feel, as women, we do have to be a little more authentic and true to ourselves. Because a lot of times men don't take that back seat like that. They don't do that. So why do we do that as women?
Right.
You
And
know,
that's why the establishing boundaries is so important, because it literally will draw in the people that are right for you in your
shit.
life, and it will keep away those people that just aren't, and it's not saying somebody's a bad person and somebody's a
Right.
good
Not
person or
good for
whatever.
you. They don't fit like a puzzle piece. It's just not the right
It's
fit.
not the right fit. It's not the right dynamic, because if you're standing up in your authentic self, you're going to attract somebody who is not just okay with that, loves that
Takes
part of
advantage,
you.
takes advantage of that and thrives off of that.
Oh, well, and yeah,
Yeah.
conversely, with the other way, with the people pleaser, if you're
Mhm.
constantly giving and doing that, then you will attract somebody who
Give me,
needs to
give
get things and needs to, yeah, maybe, be on top, be in charge, tell,
Right, right.
yeah, manipulate things. And
Yeah, most definitely right. It's the way you present yourself. So, but it is a people pleasing. issue.
Yeah.
And I don't see it as much in men, but I really see it with women. Why do you think that, Janice? Why do you think we try to overcompensate?
I think, well, there is a basic need to belong. It's
Mm.
one of the needs that we have, right? To belong, to be loved, to be in a group. And
Right.
so women do struggle with it more. I remember reading some statistic where it was like 54 or 56% women and 40 something percent men.
Right.
So it's not that drastic of a difference,
Right.
honestly.
Right. Yeah. When you say it like that,
But there is that need to belong. And I think women sometimes have maybe more that feminine, in touch with our hearts kind of
right.
aspect going on, and the nurturer and things like that. And so we kind of get sucked up in it without realizing even sometimes. And that's the first step, is always awareness of seeing.
Right. So that's your first step in kicking the people pleasing, is actually awareness, realizing that you're doing it.
Yes, and choosing awareness, because
Mm,
it if we're walking around unconscious
right.
in the world, we have the blinders on, we don't see it. So making an active choice to go, okay, I know I probably have some blind spots. I know there are probably some things in me that might need to heal or shift or, evolve a little bit. Let me really put in the effort to try to figure out what those things are and progress forward in healing those wounds or dealing with stuff that is keeping me stuck.
So naming it first.
Yes,
Giving it
like
a name.
really, and choosing, having that mindset of, I want to step into this personal growth arena,
Mm.
because not a lot of people want to. Some people would rather live unconsciously and deal with it.
Right. Right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I just want to switch gears a little bit from your people pleasing, because women, we're all about that, right? But you've done amazing things since you have come into this people pleasing awareness that you're not doing this anymore. I mean, maybe you still got a little bit of residual stuff, but you're kicking it to the curb. You have a list of accolades of stuff that you have got going on here, girl. From, you said your divorce was catastrophic, but you came out on top, winning and shining. I see you are a certified court interpreter. That
Yes.
is huge. I tried. I can't get it to go in here and out here like fast enough. I can't do that. I can't do that. You also do voiceovers. I thought that was the coolest thing.
It's fun. And I mean, it sounds so glamorous and cool, but in all reality, my voiceover studio is a closet.
Box.
But it works great. You just
Oh,
need
yeah.
to
I just
muffle and
mean the
absorb.
concept is very cool, because so we said I was a Spanish major, and I was like, all right, now what do I do besides just speak Spanish? You know what I mean? And so most of everything that I've done has always been in the arena of customer service representative. So at the IRS, I was a bilingual tax specialist. So you get cussed out in two languages. When I worked for Medicare, I got cussed out in two old languages by the little old people. You know what I mean? And they, I mean, really, so it was just a constant. So I love, or be a Spanish teacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these kids are bad these days, and these parents don't want to take up responsibility for their kids. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to raise anybody else's children. So that went to the wind. So I am just totally floored and really like in awe and secret like girl crush that you totally went with this Spanish thing. Like, I'm so excited about this. And then you're a motivational speaker, which I absolutely love. And then you're also a yoga instructor and you're an author because you've got your people pleasing, kicking that habit book. And you have taken or turned around, I guess like a crap situation, which a lot of women do find themselves in, when you get married, you're just like, okay, I'm going to let my husband, be the breadwinner. I'm going to stay at home. And then that unthinkable or unimaginable happens. And you're like, oh, fuck, he's gone by hook or by crook. What do I do? Right. And you have totally turned this into an amazing business. What do you think has been your biggest challenge that you had to overcome in really taking flight? Once you got hold of, okay, Janice, this is what it is. I know that, I've got to do some shifting. I've got to take a look at self. What was really the hardest thing about this journey for you?
I would say bouncing back from
Mm,
when you put yourself out there. Because there were so many times I was like, I'm going to walk through my fear and I'm going to go speak at this event or
how am
do
I
all
going to be
that.
received? Kind of.
Well, it's just putting yourself out there. You really do have. And when I decided to put myself out there, I
Mhm.
really was like, I'm going to show up authentically who I am. I'm just going to show up and I'm
Right.
going to be real.
No
And
pretense. No. Right.
yeah, no, no people pleasing anymore, just like kind of show up.
This is
So I
me.
would show up, maybe speak or go live on Facebook or do whatever the fear was.
Right.
After doing it, like that night or whatever, just this sense of dread and like
What the
vulnerability
what
hangover.
the hell did I just do? I bared my soul to the world. Oh
Yes.
my God. Right.
Yes, and they do call it a vulnerability hangover. So it made it nice to know and identify that it's actually a thing,
Yes.
So
Connotation.
now, yeah, I can encourage other people because some people say, oh, when they step out and they speak their truth or just show up and
Right.
show up authentically and they're not used to doing it, it
Right.
can be terrifying and you
Overwhelming.
have that feeling of like, what did I just do? Oh
That's
my,
I'm so glad to know that that's normal.
yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
not a Helena thing, that actually is like, oh my God, bang, bang, bang the head. Like, what are people going to say? What do people in the audience think? Is everybody going to unfollow me? Like, what is
Yes. Am I gonna just like uh you
be the
know
pariah?
just burn up on the spot or be swallowed live because that was so horrible or whatever
Right,
the things that we think are so just devastating.
right.
And a lot of it is just in between our ears, it's our own story creation, our own narrative, our own false beliefs, like those things that are keeping us stuck and held back.
I call that, or my therapist call it, negative self-talk.
Yes.
When you talk down to yourself, or Helena, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or why are you doing that? That automatic, that want, that Charlie Brown voice that comes up and starts talking shit to you.
Yes.
You kind of gotta. So, what has been then on the flip? What has been the most like exasperating, like epiphany moment for you on this journey? What has been the thing that has been the most fabulous? Like maybe something you didn't know you had in you? What has been like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you have that moment?
Yes. And It happened during actually a hypnotherapy session that I was in, and I remember just feeling, because they put you in the state of just deep
Like,
relaxation.
mhm, mhm.
And I've done several throughout the years, and many of them have been hugely transformational for me because it goes into my subconscious,
Mhm, mhm.
and I'm able to kind of see the blocks, the fear, the things that were holding me back, and visualize who I want to be, my highest self. So I've done all that with hypnotherapy, and it's been cool, like amazing. But the best one was this time where I felt so much peace.
Mm.
And I think my highest value in life right now is peace, is that feeling of just inner tranquility, calm. It's not chaotic. It's not confusing. It's not sad. It's not mad. It's peace. And for me, there has been no better, more impactful feeling or state of being that I have experienced on planet Earth to this point
Right.
than that feeling of complete and utter peace and contentment and tranquility. So that I will have to say, it's not, I've been on stages, I've done these things, I've
Right.
run a marathon, bodybuilding competitions, and beauty pageants when I was like just like a month ago. I was like 45 years old doing my first beauty
Yes!
pageant.
Go, girl! I love it!
And all of that stuff is
Mm.
great, and it's fun, and it helps me walk through my fears. It helps me become more confident.
New Janice.
It helps with that stuff, but ultimately it's just the peace that I am searching for, that I am embodying as I can. And, so going back to meditation and sitting in stillness, that is my favorite thing. And the thing that's been most surprising, I think, about this whole journey.
So do you think you've become more accept the words I would say are accepting and comfortable with yourself? More
Oh,
accepting of who
yes.
you are, not always hyper focused on the, "Ooh, I got too much gray," or "I got this dimple here," or too much of it. Like, we hyper focus as women on really the wrong things,
Yes, we
you
do.
know?
And I will say, I mean, it's a journey. And of course, there's still my moments of struggle and not feeling
Hmm.
good enough. And mainly for me, it is the physical appearance part, because I was a tomboy when I was a teenager. And yes, so I have all this thing around the physical appearance, which I know
Oh
a
my,
lot of women do.
you are speaking like, are we sisters from another mister? Like, you're speaking
Probably.
my whole language, and I don't know where it came from. I'm not sure, but mine is, a very physical thing also. And I don't know, I don't understand. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. And growing up, when you're immersed in the Hispanic culture, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, because I know I sound like a jackass and I'm not always politically correct and shit that comes out of my mouth, you know. But I'll even just say, like this morning, if I'm watching like Telemundo or Univision, you know what I mean? These girls are like 13, 14 years old, but they're wearing skin tight fucking dresses, short, all this little tight. They're like, um, you know, and but they've got to have a chaperone when they go out on a date and stuff. Like, it's like a mixed message kind of thing. Like, I had a girlfriend when I was in college, and you know, she and her sisters would wear really tight, little tight fitting clothes, and they were allowed to go out the parties, but I had to go as a chaperone. So I'm like, I felt like there was a mixed message there with what the beauty and the everything is supposed to be, but yet you want them to be all chaste and pure, and they're supposed to be at home, and they're supposed to be shut up in second class to the man, and they need to cook. And it's like a whole nother, I don't know. I don't know if that's and I won't even say Hispanic culture, because a lot of cultures deal in that old school type mentality. And I think that, you know, my mom coming seriously, she was off the plane, but literally off the boat, that serving my grandmother, always serving my grandfather and taking care exclusively of the house and the woman's position and all that kind of thing. I think that that really ingrained, in me. And again, it's that woman taking a back seat to everything, the woman's needs, the woman's wants. Because then I had some aunties that were married into the family, and they were more about the purses and the looking and the cute, and they were seen as like the Jezebels of the family, because they weren't at home, taken care of. And so it's almost like we have been confined and put into these little boxes, you know what I mean? And women are supposed to, look a certain way, present a certain way, but, still be quiet and geisha like, you know what I mean? And be, so I just find how it all really comes full circle, and how, as women, even in today's society where we're so much further ahead, and I hate to say this, but we've just been set back, you know what I mean, by the Supreme Court and all that with everything that's going on. As women, it seems like we always have so much coming at us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we are powerful, amazing creatures. And I
Stronger than
feel
we
like,
know.
what's that?
Stronger than we know or
Oh,
realize.
so strong, and yet with that softness and that feminine heart and love.
Right.
If I really feel, if we learn to kind of put all those things together,
Harness it.
and yeah, and harness all of that power and love and peace and beauty and purpose, and each of us step on our own path, because it's going to look different for each of us, but yeah, following that internal guidance, and um, the acknowledgement of all of our gifts,
Right.
and that goes back to the self-talk,
Right.
because so many times we won't even get past, the starting gate, because we have so many
Self-sabotage.
self-sabotage. Talk down the
So, on this journey of yours, I'm just curious, because we do have so many similarities, uncanny similarities. Um, do you find, as a businesswoman, as you've stepped into your own personal space, your own business space, do you find that the way, or that you have a I don't know if I want to say a more difficult time, but a more difficult time connecting, I don't know other way to say it, connecting with other female business owners? Do you find that women to women business is a little more strained than women to male business? Does that, if I'm asking the question right, does that?
I I don't right now.
Okay.
I know what you're saying, though, because there is, or
Like
there
a,
can be, yes, there can be a very competitive type of vibe between women.
right,
And
right.
I definitely had a lot of that. Very, I
Okay.
compare myself, very jealous.
Correct.
Um,
Mm,
I definitely had all of those things. And I feel like I've just kind of, and it's a process and a journey, but I'm stepping more into, like, we are sisters. We are amazing together.
Right.
What, how can we support each other? And the more I've opened my heart and my mind up to that,
Find it.
it's been reciprocal. Yeah. And it's actually to the point where I would kind of rather do business and collaborations and things with other female entrepreneurs than male. And it's not saying I won't do
Right,
any.
right.
Yeah, I gravitate more toward that now.
I asked because we are such similar personalities, so I almost feel like the stuff that would be coming at us would kind of be similar. And I'm asking. I'm glad that you mentioned. You did go through that. With the little cattiness or the jealousy type weird stuff. And that now that you've kind of, I guess you say, acknowledged it and opened your eyes to it and more embrace it
Yeah.
instead of like away from it. If you hit it head on, it does seem to scare off those that don't need to be in your path, but those who are meant to be in your path, it does attract that positive energy.
Yes, absolutely. And I love it. I love the
Yes.
energy of
And I,
like this.
I just really want to harp on that because so many other small business owners, females, I know they're so scared. It's almost like, and I do the analogy is like, girl, I'm not coming to take your man. Like, we're talking about a business. We're talking about business ideas. I'm not sleeping with your man, but that's the way it feels like I'm coming after your man. I'm not. We are bouncing ideas off of each other. I got my business. You got your business. We're talking about how we navigate stuff, but that competition is more of like a, what do they call it? Emotionally immature,
Mhm.
maybe for somebody who's not quite ready yet. And maybe, maybe we were that girl. We were that lady at one point where we were a little more insecure
Oh,
at one point
absolutely.
and didn't know how to reach out. And when it came to us, we kind of like, ooh, I don't know. You're gonna take my man, you're gonna take my trade secrets.
Mhm.
So okay. I wonder how you dealt with working with women. So now men, I have found a lot of testosterone. And because I am that people pleaser, I think that I probably still have some of those antenna and radar like flapping around because I do have a tendency to attract a lot of testosterone that almost like wants to test those boundaries.
Yeah.
Have you encountered that at all?
Absolutely. Well, I think anytime we're changing and evolving, there are going to be those situations in our lives where we can kind of, it tests us like, oh, okay. So here's another step of,
Mm.
oh, the boundary setting and boy,
Mm.
I said yes. And I really that didn't come from a very authentic, sincere
Right,
place.
right,
Why did I say yes? And
right,
so now, of course, those things happen, but I quickly can kind of see it and then go, oh, that's interesting. And it's not with judgment. I don't beat myself up over the head. It's
right,
just kind of
right.
like with curiosity. Oh, why did I say yes? Why did I feel
The
like I
need
need to
compelled.
yes. So it's just kind of having that awareness, this expanding awareness
Mm,
to be
mm,
able to then see when you're stepping into it
right,
and do a further deeper dive as
right,
to like what that's about.
right. I I've started actually vetting folks. I don't let everybody get to me. You know what I mean? Not everybody can infiltrate my circle, and that's the boundaries. You
Yeah.
can't roll up and talk to Mr. Walmart, Mr. Target, Mr. Wendy's or Burger King, right? You got to talk to the sales associates, right? So you got to set boundaries. But also, I've learned I'm old school. I have notebooks and I write everything down.
Nice.
And when I have a meeting with somebody, I literally will dog ear my notebook and I dedicate a couple of pages to them. And I will literally be like, this guy talks too much about himself. Okay, all right, this is some bullshit. Like, I literally write notes to myself because I don't want to make any hasty decisions, right? And so I literally take notes. I take minutes of my meetings and I go back and be like, yeah, that's not going to work. And then I say, we'll see. And I go back but I had to train myself because that people pleaser would have been like, okay, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Yes.
yeah, and would have been worried about how they took it. You know
Right.
what I mean? If I said no. Now I'm just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and review my notes and I'll get back to you.
Wink, wink.
I'll get back to you, but I feel that as women, we're afraid sometimes to take those reins
Yeah.
because
Yes.
we'll be labeled.
Right. Right. But I like what you did. And actually, it's a really good suggestion to people is you don't have to say yes or no in the moment. It's really helpful to have kind of a go-to phrase like, let me think about that and get back to you. I need to check my calendar and I'll let you know. Whatever the thing is, so you're not saying yes in the moment just out of habit.
We'll bring that up in the next group meeting with myself, but we'll bring that up and we'll discuss it in the next group meeting.
Right.
Like,
I'll chat to myself about that. And then
we'll revisit that. Thank you. Yep. Okay. So definitely I take notes because I'm not going to remember everything that they said. But if I write down, just like you took notes for school, copious notes, right? Copious notes.
copious.
You jot notes to yourself so it jogs your memory. So that way you can smell the bull caca and you can see the red flags and respond appropriately.
Yeah.
So what do now I know what my kids think. What do your kids think about mom doing all of this really cool stuff?
I think they're proud of me. I mean, they think it's cool when I act in little short films or, because I do some acting on the side. So I think they
Right.
think that's cool. They think the voiceover stuff's cool. They love that I travel a lot.
Mhm.
I think it's expanded their vision of what they're capable of. Let's put it that way, which is cool. I love that for them because I don't want them to feel like I did, which was so
Right.
small and worthless, stifled and stuck. And so,
Right.
but everybody has a journey and everybody's gonna have, and I have to acknowledge that with my kids too. They're gonna go
Right.
through the pain and the
Oh, of course, of
ups
course.
and downs, and yeah.
I just asked because my son was like, Mom, I can't wait to the day where my friends say, hey, come look at this old crazy lady on TikTok and it's you. And I'm just like, hey, it might be,
Totally.
so that's why I wonder how your children actually see this transformation for you. My daughter is 22 and every time I talk to her, she's like, Mom, I'm so proud. That's so cool. You're doing this and you're doing that, because she knows that self-conscious bubble that mom used to be in.
Yes. Well, and she does have a really cool mom, I will
Oh,
say.
well, thank you. Touche, girl. Touche. Well, Janice, if anybody wants to go on their own, self-explorative journey with kicking those bad habits of being a people pleaser, because I say probably like 95% of us women really do that. I think it's higher than 54%. Like, I can really say that. I feel that in my soul.
Yeah.
And it probably is a lot higher for men, I think, too. These days, the generations are more wimpy, they're more emotional, they're more think about it, they're more, clutch the pearls and all that kind of stuff, and they need more guidance. They're not as like knocked down tomboyish like you and I. We used to go climb trees. I got scars for days. You know what I mean? These children have, self-inflicted emotional scars for, whatever reasons, and a lot of these traumas that people have grown up with, and they're still, I'm 50 and I still people please. You know what I mean? All the way from when I was little. How can they find your book? How can they get to you to get some guidance, to make that realization that they need that help?
Yeah, absolutely. So the book's on Amazon. It's called Kicking the People Pleasing Habit, a step approach. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. So that's on Amazon. I actually just finished recording the audio version, so it's Audible now. Yay.
Told you she was amazing, and she had a shit ton of stuff going on, y'all.
So that's exciting. And yeah, and then my website is there, janiceburt.com or SpanishJanice.com. Sometimes that's a little easier to remember, so I throw that one out there.
So cute. I absolutely love it. And side note, for those who are interested, how did you get to voice over your book? How did you do that? Holy crap.
Well, that's the perks of doing voiceover work, is I already have all of the equipment in my closet right here. So I just went on and recorded, put in the chapters, and it uploads it to Audible. So if you had your book and you wanted to do an Audible version, you would go on there. They have a bunch of voiceover artists that you can choose from. But if you happen to have your own equipment, and nowadays you honestly don't need all that much to be able to do your own, audio recordings, I say do your own. Because to me, if it's somebody's book and it's a kind of personal, there's stories about them in there, I love to hear it out of their own mouth.
Their own take on it.
Totally.
That's amazing, because I know there are tons of small business owners out there who have embarked on authorship. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't know you could actually voice your book like that and put it up. That is super cool. See, learning shit all the time, girl. You can't teach an old chick new tricks. I absolutely love it. Janice, you have been absolutely fabulous. I thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today. You have been amazing. Your trek, your journey, girl, and it keeps going, expanding, shining your light and getting better.
Aw, thank you, and same right back at you. I felt your amazing energy from the start. So
thank you. It has been amazing, and I hope that you will come back and join us next time on another episode, please.
Oh, heck yeah.
Podemos hablar un poquito español.
Vamos a hacer completamente en español a la próxima.
Yay, con gusto, con gusto. Pues, señorita mamacita, un placer de hablar contigo hoy día.
Igualmente, nos veremos pronto.
Ok, chao, besitos.